All right, hey YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Jazzy Time with your host Bailey. How's it going, everybody? I'm gonna zoom back out here. I have part 2 of the new set video, I guess we'll call that. So if you guys didn't see me do the removal and prep of these nails, make sure you go and check out part 1. There's a lot of good tips in there on how to get a nice clean nail bed prepped and ready to go for a new set. So, give me a moment. I'm going to cut my forms. So the forms I am using today are these silver ugly duckling long stiletto forms because I am doing long coffins, which is like my favorite shape. And they don't come with a perforated edge, so you have to like cut them yourself, these ones. All right, so give me just a second. I'm going to grab everything out that I need and I will be right back. All right, and I am back. Okay, so the design I'm going for is inspired by a photo. I will insert the photo here. So I really like that bug and wood look, but I'm going to do like the 2 nails that are the bugs, but I'm going to make the other nails like mine. So I'm going to make this design mine. So it's inspired by that photo. I can't remember at this point if there is a watermark. If there is, I'll leave that person's tag down here. But this is inspired by this photo artist. Beautiful work. So I'm going to show you guys what I have. I'm going with pigments because I think that will encapsulate a little better. I don't want to go too much glitter. So I have these 2 pigments for the green and blue bug. And I have this like bright orange and red for the red bug. And I will apply those with my pigment brush. This is just a cut crease brush from Walmart. It was like $2. And then I'm going to inlay some of this finer iridescent mylar in with that so that it's almost like, so the 3 usual, so like these 3 nails, I want like glitter at the bottom to fade up the same as the bugs do. And then the top design, I want that wood to kind of fade down, so they're kind of merging together, if that makes sense. Like I want like a nice ombre of wood to glitter. So that's what I'm going for with this. So again, I'm using ugly duckling stiletto forms. For my extension, I want an extra strong extension, so I'm going with Fusion Sculpture, and I find Fusion and Nail Innovations work well together. When you're mixing your products, make sure you test first before you mix them, because chemically sometimes they will not work together. These 2 work well together for me, so I am using them. I will also be using, I didn't grab it out yet, where are you? Redemption to build and finish off the nails. So let's get to the building of the nail part. So I am again going to wipe my nail plate with acetone to remove any oils in case I may have touched my own nail plate. All right. So now let's take these, move this over here. So I try not to touch anything with my art hand or the hand I'm working on after I've wiped it. So I'm going in with my dehydrator, and I am going to dehydrate my nail plate twice because I hold a little bit of oil And I'm not touching the skin. There is a little bit of gel left on here. I am only touching the natural nail plate. And I don't know if you guys can see. I'll zoom in a little bit. Dehydrator kind of makes itself work. Oh, there. It's hard to see, but it kind of spreads out on its own. So you never want to actually touch this to your skin because you can get some slight burning. I'm just going to wait for this to go a little chalky. So if you guys don't like these like real-time videos, let me know. I will speed through a lot of this, but so now I'm going to go ahead and do a second dehydrator. Yes, I have very, very oily nail beds, but if I do 2 dehydrators, 2 primers, and 1 bonder, that seems to work for me. Except for my index finger, I do 3 primer because that is like my problem finger. All right, so I'm waiting for this. I'm going to pause while I'm waiting for this to go completely chalky, and I will be right back. Okay, so I am all nice and chalky the way I want it to be. So the brand for this one, they call it Connections, but it's just a primer. So I am going to use my brushes coordinate with the colors on top of my bonding system here. So I'm going to go into this and I'm going to scrub each layer into the nail. And now this is an air dry product, but the heat from the UV lamp encourages it to dry. So I'm going to put my lamp on. I'm going to put my hand in here for a few moments. And then I'm going to do the second layer. I usually leave it like 15 or so seconds so that it goes tacky. So how is everybody? Everybody's doing good? It's wonderful. Okay. So go back in again. Scrub, scrub, scrub. You really want to scrub it in. Everybody always asks me, do you do your own nails? Why, yes. Yes, I do. Is it the easiest thing on the planet? No. No, it's not. It's never easy when you do your own. They're never perfect. And mine obviously never match. So I'm in the light again, and I'm just waiting because I want to do a third layer on my index because I don't know I don't know if it's just because I use my index a lot, but my indexes on both hands are my problem fingers, so I make sure I put extra primer on that one finger so I don't lose or break a nail. So I'm going to extra scrub, 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 scrub. Okay, put my lid on. And now I'm going to put this in the lamp, in my UV lamp, for a full 2 minutes, and I will be right back. Okay, so we're back. This is nice and tacky. I'm not going to touch it. So now I'm going in with the bonder, which from Nail Innovations is called Adhesion. And I just need 1 coat of this. And again, it's the same as the Connection. You don't need a whole lot on the brush because this cures kind of like gel, so you want to be very, very careful with this one because you can flood the sidewalls and it will kind of pool and cure. But you also want to give this a nice good scrub. And this is UV cure, so this does go into the lamp also for 2 minutes. And I'm so excited, guys. I have some hybrid lamps on the way because my ultraviolets are aging and they're due for a change out. So I'm pretty excited for the hybrid lamps to come in. Can't wait for those. So I'm going to close up this bottle, move over here. I'm going to cure for 2 minutes, and again, I will be right back. Okay, so back again. So my bonders are all cured. So I have my forms, and I'm going to bring my other gels over here, and we're going to grab out my pinching tool. I got this off of Banggood. I don't know how many years ago. Awesome. Works. Love it. All right. So now this part is a little difficult. I also get asked, how come you don't put your forms on before you do this part? I find some forms, especially these ones, they don't stick as long as I would like them to. So to leave them on the fingers and going in and out of the lamp is very, like, they open up a lot, and then that can mess up your form. So when I'm doing my own, I like to do one at a time. So especially these ugly duckling forms, they're a great form, but I find they're not as sticky as a brilliant form, and I have very wide thumbs. So the way I pinch it, I don't know if you guys can see that. See how it's kind of like when you look a barrel down on your finger. Let me get a little Peter Pointer instructional pointy tool here. So when you look barrel down at your finger, you have this inner circle that kind of lines up with your natural nail, and then you have this outer circle that lines up the rest. When you're pinching a form, especially, you want to make sure you pinch it to that inner circle. Like, you see how that stops here, right? And then I'm going to take my scissors at my sidewalls. I'm going to give them a little snip. I'm going to fold that little snip out and push that piece up underneath my natural nail. So now I know my sidewalls, and I have this angled down a little bit because I am doing a coffin shape. So now when I do that and using my, I have to do my my foundation gel first. I jumped ahead here. So foundation gel, I'm going to do the same thing, a very, very thin layer, and scrub it in. Okay. And that gets a 2-minute cure. I'm going to show you guys with just this one nail, and then I'll speed up me extending the rest of the nails. But I'm going to just pause while my foundation gel cures. Okay, so my foundation gel is cured, and I have my form the way I want it. So I'm going to take my fusion sculpture, and I'm going to take a little bit, and I'm going to roll that off my brush. And I like to dance it up to the sidewall. Dance, 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 dance. And this is a thicker gel, so it's not going to move while I am trying to work with it, basically. The thicker the gel for an extension, the better I find. And I'm gonna go to about just before a 1. And I'm just kind of sketching out my extension shape. I'm gonna wipe my brush. I'm gonna come off my sidewall and I'm gonna clean up my product. Just like that. And most important, when you're doing an extension, you want to make sure that you get up over top of your free edge. So I like to feather mine back up onto, and I know that I need to add just a smidgy here. So that comes straight off. And that's straight, so I'm happy with that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flash cure this for about 15 seconds. And I'm going to have my pinching tool ready. So I'm going to cure it to the point where I can put a tool on it, but not to the point where it's too brittle to pinch, if that makes sense. Just giving it a few seconds. You can do 10 seconds, however long. And now I'm going to take my pinching tool and I test first, make sure it's not stringy. And then, so when you're pinching, you want to just pinch the free edge part. It looks like I'm pinching my entire nail, but I'm just touching the free edge, and I like to give it a little extra squeeze. And this will give me that C curve that keeps that structure on the nail. Give it a good pinch. And sometimes I like to pinch the barrel too. Because some gels, like this Fusion, don't pinch throughout the barrel all the way. And then I'm going to cure that for the rest of the timer. And then I'll remove the form and I'll show you guys in just a moment. Okay, so that's fully cured. I'm going to open up the wings at the back, pinch underneath. Woo! Oh, that's a tight one. And pull forward, because if I pull up, I'm going to put too much stress on the front of my nail. So now, and it's hard for me to flip my hand this way, but you can see we got a nice pinch. We're coming off nice and straight off the natural side wall. There's a little extra there, but that's okay. We can fix that up with filing. And we have a nice, strong structure underneath. So now you guys will see me do like 2 at a time because I work faster when I'm not explaining things. So I'm going to speed through the rest. I'm going to do the exact same thing, but much faster. Okay, so all right, so you guys can see we have a nice pinch, except for my index. My index doesn't always pinch the way I want it to. It always looks very flat, but I know it's pinched. I know it's going to be strong. All right, so we have our general shape, and I don't know what was up with these forms today, but they were just like sticking everywhere. It's like they don't normally stick, but oh, they have to perform in a video. Now they're sticking great. All right, so I am done with these. And now I am going to open these first. Hopefully I don't get any pigment on the sticky part on my nails. And hopefully my son doesn't come in here and grab these while I have them out. This one is super neon. It's like a neon orangey red. And I have a red. But I've been so into like neon colors and just craziness. All right, so I'm going to take my builder gel. I'm going to have it open. But because these are already tacky, and I know these two I'm just going to build because the design's going to be on top. So I'm going to have the red on this nail and the red bug on this nail. And then the other ones are going to be the green and blue with the green and blue guy in the middle. So, and I'm hoping this will work. But if it doesn't, lesson learned. So I'm trying not to make too much of it. I'm going to turn my fan on. And I'm going to press my pigments into the tacky layer of my extension. Because these are going to be capped and all that when they're built up. So I'm not worried about it being perfect or anything like that. I got a paper towel over here. I'm just blotting my brush on. And then I'm going to go in a little bit of blue. And I'm trying to do a little bit of an ombre like on the bug. And I'm not worried about it being perfect in the on the nail plate area, the natural area that's exposed right now, because that's going to be covered with another design. So I'm just trying to get a nice little blend. Without making too much of a mess. That one pinched quite hard, didn't it? Okay, I'm definitely making a mess on my hands, but that's okay. And then this one, I'm gonna go just a little bit of red. A little more orange than red. And then I'm going to come back in with the red and just kind of bring it up. So that's what I've got. And now I'm going to go over top of these with a thin layer of my builder gel. And don't worry about it messing up this part because, like I said, that part's going to be covered. I'm going to wipe the pigment out of my brush. And I'm just going in like very, very thin layer. Just literally like painting on the layer. Because I'm going to shut this off so y'all can hear me. And I'm going to put these lids on. And move these to a safe location. And then I'm going to put the mylar pieces on the exposed color part to kind of match the shell of the bug from the inspiration photo. That's what I'm doing. And for this, I'm going to switch to my glitter designated brush, and I'm just gonna get it wet with some of the builder gel in the lid so I can pick up pieces. And I don't want a lot of pieces, but I do want it, I don't want a lot of big pieces, I should say. I'm kind of going for tinier ones, so I grabbed this smaller cut mylar. And I'm just placing it over the color. Just like that. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit so you guys can see these a little better. Piece is too big. Get off my brush. I hate when you go and grab pieces and they're just stuck and you're like helpless and you can't really do anything other than try and wipe it off the brush. But there they are. They're looking a little El Terrible right now. So I'm going to cure that into place and I will be right back. Okay, so those are cured. And I will do, again, I'll do one with you guys and then I'll speed through the rest and I will do my thumb with you. So I have a good amount on my brush here. I might need more, and I usually do when it comes to my thumb. And I like to tip my finger down. I'll dance the product towards the cuticle, keeping it thin. And as you can see, gravity is already helping me. And you want your brush to be in contact with the gel, but not, oh, what's the word? Like I'm helping the gel in a sense, but I'm not like brushing it. I'm more floating the product. I definitely need a little more. And I'm just walking it down the nail to where I want it to go. Helping it along the side walls, making sure I cap everything. Sometimes I'll take the tip of my brush and help it. But that's all like that. And my structure is good. And I'm going to, if you ever need to, you know, fix the structure or it's kind of gone blobby, you can always turn your finger upside down. That helps too. I'm not worried about the free edge part because that part's all going to come off. And I'm going to cure that for 2 minutes. All right, so my thumb is not focusing. So my thumb, you guys can see it. It's all done. I'm happy with the thickness. It's ready to be filed. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these 4 off camera, and then I'll come back to you guys with the finished file part. Okay, so these are all cured and ready to be filed. Now, I do want to point something out, and a lot of people have problems with this, and I know I have problems with this, because when I put my hand down, I don't know if you guys can see, but like even on a flat surface, when I put my hands down, all of my fingers rock to the left. Like, this is my left hand, so all my fingers rock to the left. So when this happens and I'm doing nails, especially on myself, I get flooding or like sagging to one side. So it always gets very heavy on one side. And I don't know if that's just because of the way this gel cures, but I know it's definitely from the way I hold my hand. So don't get weary about stuff like that, because you can always fix it when filing. Especially if I'm doing capsules, I always make sure that I put a little extra. So if that happens, I'm not going to file everything off. Sure. Turn my fan on. I hope you guys can hear me. And I go do my sidewalls first so that they're nice and flat. Or straight. It's always hard for me to file my own nails. And when I do that also, I also like kind of turn my file inward to give that beveled or rounded look to the outside, so that they're not so clunky with, you know. Sometimes people will file and they'll file and file, and they have this hard edge on the end or on the side, and all you gotta do is just turn your hand. You can also turn it underward, like underwards. Is that even a word? Underwards. To make sure that the nail looks okay. It's still a little thick. I definitely do. I'm an e-filer, so I do my sidewalls first to get any junk off the sides, or if it may, you know, stick here. Just kind of refining the edges before we refine the top. And see, I am filing into the color, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that. I definitely applaud those who hand file all 10 nails. Good on ya. Wow, I can't believe you guys freaking do that. I don't think I would have the strength in my shoulders to hand file 10 nails, because just doing this part definitely kills my arm a lot in a day, especially if I'm doing like, you know, 4 or so clients in a day, you know. So good on y'all for hand filing. That's insane. Just trying to get my shape as good as I can with one hand. And then I'm gonna bust out my e-file. This one, oh, this one needs some work. So hard to file the pinky. My pinky always ends up crooked. This one definitely has a lot of overflow that went to the outside, so I have to pay attention to that. See, it doesn't matter your product control or whatever. Filing can fix a lot of things, but you definitely want to work on product control to eliminate that filing time. But sometimes, like things like this, especially, like I can't help it. I'm only doing it with one hand. I don't have two hands. You know, I'm not perfect. Definitely. Okay, so I am happy with that right now. I am going into my cleaner and grabbing my drill bit. So I am using a cross-cut diamond drill bit, or Dremel bit, whatever you want to call this darn thing. Give me 1 second and I'll show you guys. This is a crosscut. Wow, I never really realized how much this pattern distracts the focus. Crosscut drill bit here, and I have mine on about 3/4, so I'm like on a 3rd level on my Erica, and I'll hit the underside. And when I do it, I start at the back 3rd. I'm gonna bring this in a little bit. I start at the back 3rd and rock back and forth. Slowly work my way up the nail. And then as I get to the middle of the nail, I'm more in the middle of the barrel. And then as I get to the back of the nail, I'm more at the top of the barrel. So I'm going with the shape of the nail that I want. Now this bit's a safety bit. Like, see, I can put my finger to the top and it doesn't hurt. But again, our bits are made of metal. We need to respect them because you can hurt someone with it. But this bit in particular allows me to get like right up and touch the cuticle area and touch the skin and not hurt anybody. So I can get right in there. And sometimes I'll give it a quick sweep over like this. Ooh, I got a bubble. I got a bubble. I just go back and forth, rock, 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 rock the bit over the nail, get it looking the way I want it. A little harsh line right there. That's got a nice apex for the length. It's not too bad. Nice thickness, a little thick on this side. I think I'm gonna roll that in the side there, and it's much better. There you go, and then we'll finish that off with buffing. And sometimes you'll see I'll rock my finger instead of moving my Dremel. Definitely, do you guys remember back in the day when I had that purple Dremel? I was not trained on that thing. I am so glad I am trained on e-files now, because these machines, if you don't know how to use one, oh my gosh, they're so intimidating. And I don't know if you guys can see here. See that little dip right there? I definitely need to add some more product there, or I could have a weak point. But I'm going to go ahead and finish these. They always say when you're doing nails and you look barrel down, you want it to be the thickness of a credit card. Now the camera is zoomed in a bit, but that's I like that. That's a nice, not too thick, not too thin. You get some people that like their nails extra thick, that are absolutely peculiar. You get some people that want them super, super thin, but you try to explain to them, you know, if it goes too thin, you can break, and then yeah. Okay. Alright, so happy with that. And I'm going to get my dusty brush. Whoop, throwing it everywhere here. Get the dust off. And then I'm going to wipe this nail and I'm going to add some more builder gel in that weak spot because I'm assuming that was the result of it obviously going off the side here. So you always want to make sure that the structure of the nails are good, because if your structure is off, even like a little hitch off the side, that can cause a break. And especially this being on the front, I wouldn't want that to snap off the end of my finger. Because my apex on this one is good. There, see, I've added that. That'll be nice, so now I can just cure that for 2 minutes. Okay, so I've hit that with the E-file. I am just going along my side walls and free edge once again, because sometimes when you shape it with your E-file, you can sometimes lose those, you know, sharp edges or whatnot that you're going for, and I like my tips to be square, nice and sharp sometimes. Even though I don't always get to achieve that, but I definitely try. Okay, so now I'm going to take a buffer out here, and I'm going to buff out all those demarcations to make the nail nice and smooth. The demarcations are like the scratch marks from the E-file or your hand file or whatever. Make sure you get around the cuticle area too. rather than hand washing, these are good to go for the next step of this design. So there they are. Oh, I'm going to shut this off. So there's my right hand. My pinky finger always looks weird. I apologize. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Click, comment, like up this video when you guys like this video. It helps other people see. And then I grow on my channel, and that is what I want, is to grow and be a good YouTuber because I like doing it. Subscribe if you guys want to see anything. Please leave that in the description box below. You can follow me on Instagram at bc_jazzy_time. Anywho, I'm gonna finish up these. These are looking so good. I can't wait to see what the wood part turns out like. So I'll see you guys in part 3. I hope you all stay tuned and stay jazzy.